The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to my review show here of XPW Killafornia 2 from April 22nd, 2023, from the Derby Room in Pomona, California, airing on streamxpw.com. I got to watch this show after it aired live, because whilst this show was actually on, I was probably partying. I went to a music festival, so that's why my voice is a little bit hoarse. So here we go. The show opens up with I didn't understand what was going on. I need context for this. That's probably just on me, for not keeping up with, I guess, what's going on online or what's going on at XPW TV. But they're making fun of Brett Lauderdale from GCW, and I'm guessing that they're waging war on GCW. So we'll see how that pans out. You know, it's typical XPW, isn't it? We start off, of course, ring announcer extraordinaire Larry Legend is out there, and I thought to myself, where's the crowd? This is such a big show. Turns out people still filing in to the building, and it seemed like quite a packed house for them here. Bo Cooper is introduced by Larry Legend, and you know, my good friend Bo Cooper. You can see my exclusive interview with him on the Insider's Edge podcast on this channel. He comes out, he starts talking on the mic. I'm thinking, okay, this is probably going to lead to some sort of angle, or maybe Bo wasn't booked into the tournament and he wants to be in the tournament. So maybe he's like going to hold up the show or something like that until he gets what he wants. Give me what I want. But no, Bo Cooper actually retires at 43 years old. I believe he said he was just about to have a baby. So look, fair enough. If that's the part of life right now for Bo Cooper, where he feels like it's time to step away. Personally, it kind of broke my heart a little bit as a fan, because I'm a fan of Bo, and I thought he was always like a really cool addition to the shows. He's a big bastard, and yeah, you like those kinds of guys, especially a guy like Bo who can work despite his gargantuan size, the mountain of a man that he is. So Bo, congratulations on your retirement. You know, never say never, obviously. Hope to see you around the traps in some way, shape, or form in XPW. In some way, even if it's not in the ring. Maybe you could be like a bodyguard or something like that. I don't know. But so yes, that was the way you started off the show. So classy thing there for Bo to say his farewells. We're going to get into this tournament right here, right now. Killafornia 2, King of the Deathmatch Tournament. First one is apparently a barbed wire madness match. Shane Mercer takes on Terex. And I wrote, first thing, if Terex loses this one, I swear to God. Shane Mercer did beat him in 4 minutes and 2 seconds. This is how we got there. This was a short one. So, not a lot had the chance or opportunity to happen here. But what they did do was quite good. Terex got put through a table in the corner with tubes on it, and his arm was piercing with blood. And the referee was tying a cloth on his arm to stop the bleeding. Then he got leg swept through a door, and Mercer showing his fucking brute strength, man. He hit like an attitude adjustment onto a barbed wire board on 2 chairs for the easy win. So, that's a showcase there for Shane Mercer to show his strength. But now Terex is 0-5, 0 wins, 5 losses in XPW. I said it the last time I think he performed on a show. Please give him a win. I feel bad for the guy. He needs a win. Coming up next, the next matchup in the first round, a 2 out of 3 light tube log cabins match. Dirty Ron McDonald takes on Drake Younger. Dirty Ron makes an entrance steaming mad about the company being unprofessional. The microphone wasn't working very well. Kept on cutting out whilst he was talking. Every time he started screaming into the mic, it cut out again. Drake Younger makes his entrance, and Dirty Ron was already bleeding before the match began because he was hitting himself in the head with something sharp. I can't remember quite what it was, but he was smashing himself over and over again in the head, and that was kind of funny. Because he was that annoyed, he was that upset about it that he started hurting himself. What kind of human being is that? Dirty Ron straight away drives Drake through tubes in the corner, and it looked like there was an immediate reaction from Drake hurting himself. The referee was checking on him, and I could see them kind of communicate. Then you could see as the show wore on that Drake was taped up quite heavily around his back and ribs. So I'm guessing he got a bit of a deep cut there. He follows it up by T-boning Ron through another log cabin. So, you know, it's the first person to get him through 2 log cabins. Ron copped a powerbomb through the third and final log cabin. So this was a quick one. 2 minutes, 58 seconds. Decent, quick, what we need for a first round match, I think. I think first round matches should be kind of like, you know, in that between 5 and 10 minute time frame. I think anything longer than that is just a little bit too long when you know that the show's going to go 5 hours. Coming up next, Aeroboy is taking on The Body in another first round match. This one goes 7 minutes, 29 seconds. The Body came out looking even more effeminate than the last few shows, and I'm assuming this is going to, you know, the ante is going to be upped every single time with this. So, you know what? I think it's an interesting character to have. You know, somebody who's a they, them, and kind of like opening up conversation about, you know, pronouns and things like that. I don't know. I just think it's an interesting way of going about it. Because I don't think he does it with any intent to upset anybody. I think it's a character that you haven't seen before. It's something different, right? And why not go there? But I wonder what Aeroboy was thinking during Body's entrance. This place really is the land of misfits. Body had a nice suicide dive early in the match, and he also bit Aeroboy's dick. And I like the call from Ron Nemi saying tube sausage smothered in underwear. That was creative. A Death Valley driver into the corner, destroying a ladder, bro. It was very harsh looking. It wasn't a bad match. It built slowly toward the finish, and I thought the finish was awesome with the splash through the table with tubes by Aeroboy. That was a great visual. When he landed, it was just flush. Aeroboy's easy to keep at that one. I like him. We have a vignette of referee Danny Ramirez being told he has to be a referee again. And then he comes out to do the refereeing. Sorry, he's going to referee the next match, and he's kind of talking to Larry Legend at ringside, getting on the microphone, said a few things, you know, not bad verbiage. Obviously, he's annoyed about the situation, but Danny, find the camera, bro. You got to find the camera if you're going to talk in the mic. We don't want to see the back of your head. Coming up next, Eric Ryan takes on Ludark Shaitan in the next matchup for the first round. 11 minutes, 56 seconds this one went. So Cat Martini made an entrance looking super hot, dude. I nearly had a nervous breakdown over it, honestly. Ludark is the opponent, the XPW Women's Champion. So it was, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how these two work this intergender matchup. Eric got backdropped through a plastic tub, which, man, that would hurt. That would hurt. It doesn't look like a plastic tub would hurt, but I reckon like going through one, yeah. So I thought this was a pretty decent death match between these two, torturing one another. Back suplex onto a pile of forks, great stuff. Very, very creative. But the plastic tubs did get a little lame when they like threw them at each other, because like I know that wouldn't hurt, but I know being put through one would hurt. Ludark managed to powerbomb Eric through a table, which then signified for Becky Hate, aka Sage Sin Supreme, showing up to attack Ludark to continue this story, this angle that's been going on for months on end now. And you know, But here's the thing about that part. Like, yeah, at first, of course, yeah, it made sense and all that. But I thought the interference and how she left the ring was really weird. Like there's a situation where Ludark was in front of her. I think she shoved Ludark into Eric, and then Eric kind of pushed her back in the back, and she like fell on her face, and then Becky just left the ring, and then Eric just went and pinned Ludark, and then Danny did a fast count. So I don't know. It's a little bit confusing for me about what that was all about. Just the way that scenario played out. I thought Becky should have just done one thing that laid her out, and then maybe a quick hope spot. But then Eric Ryan manages to get that fast count pinfall or something like that. But that's just me. So yes, Eric moves forward in the tournament. Coming up next, another matchup here in the first round. Becky Haight, aka Sage Supreme, takes on the Body. And this one goes 10 minutes 38 seconds. So Becky wants to be in the tournament. There's an open challenge out there, and the Body has answered this challenge. So for me, you know what? Like, and this look, okay. I thought this was a creative way of getting the Body to be able to work a second match and have a second opportunity in this tournament. Because he came out and said he identified as a man in the first match. Now he's identifying as a woman to re-enter into the tournament. So it's just that's such bullshit, but it's great, you know. That's really funny. But like for me personally, like I wouldn't have had Body already lose a match, because you know he came out later on again, and you know, to me it kind of felt like there's a little bit of too much overexposure on the show, but you know, maybe I'm just nitpicking for nitpicking's sake. But anyway, they finally start using that barbed wire ring. There's two rings. There's a barbed wire ring. You know what? And I still feel like that ring didn't get used very much. Not that it's a massive deal, but see, because I thought that like, whilst one match is going on, maybe in the other ring, they're setting up another death match. So the breaks between matches aren't as long. I thought that's what the whole point of the two rings was, but no, it's all right. Anyway, let's keep going. The chair shot from Becky on Body was dreadful. I think some of the ladies need to practice these chair shots, because the chairs are heavy chairs. I get it, okay? But I feel like recently in XPW, when I've seen the ladies use these heavy steel chairs, that they come across a little bit awkward in execution. Body went to go bite Becky's dick, but she hasn't got a dick. Body hit a Bronco Buster, then he missed a Bronco Buster, which was a little bit awkward. And this kind of took me a bit out of the match, because Body seemed a little bit too concerned about whatever the next spots were coming up. You know, you could tell, but again, maybe a fan that doesn't watch as much wrestling as me and didn't do wrestling training and all that, maybe a fan, a regular fan, wouldn't even blink an eye at something like that. So again, that could be a nitpick for nitpick's sake. He goes flying through a folded out steel chair, which is brutal. And then Kat interferes. And gets involved in the match, sorry. And I'm getting myself confused with my notes here, because I've written Kat a second time, but I'm talking about Becky. Body ends up hitting a Death Valley driver on Becky through a board of stuff between chairs to get the victory. Then Ludark comes out, and there's a pull-apart brawl with her and Becky Haight. So this was okay, but slightly disjointed. Because like, okay, they were in the previous segment for Ludark's match. I would have had to take between that and this just to break up the angle a little bit. And also, like, again, I'm not sure about Body working, you know, two matches in the first round, but again, it's not really a big deal. Okay, let's move forward. Big Effing Joe cuts a really good promo in a pre-recorded interview. And then we come up to Big F and Joe taking on JD Horror in a match that went 10 minutes, 30 seconds. JD Horror, I've never heard of him. Hasn't wrestled in about 5 years, apparently. So we saw some footage of him. See, that's good. What you did was good there. You showed some previous footage of him. You brought the viewer up to speed on the guy instead of like that. You know, sometimes some of these wrestling companies bring people in cold and expect everyone to know who they are. Like when AEW brings in like Vikingo or, you know, El Hijo de Vikingo and expect everyone to know exactly who he is. Like, but anyway, they chain to begin the match. They brawl on the outside, and we got into some good stuff early with a suplex onto the guardrail and some tube work. It stays on the outside for some time. Big F and Joe got stabbed in the balls and dick with a fork, which was also very entertaining. You know what? Big F and Joe's, you know, he does that flipping body attack into the corner. It's like he doesn't really do a flip like a cannonball. He kind of flips to the side back first into his opponent. That's really hit or miss. I know he likes to stuff a light tube in the person's ring gear and then charge at them and do that body attack. But I'm telling you, I think out of the last maybe 10 I've seen, I reckon maybe 2 have looked good. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like maybe Joe should drop that move from this move set. That's just me. Or work on it. I'm sure he could fix it up. You know, if he's done it good before, then he can do it good again. But you know, it's like Red Velvet always going for that standing moonsault. Like, yeah, she might have hit it okay once, but just give up on it if you can't hit it, Red Velvet. But anyway, back to this match. Joe got caught in wire and then thrown through a table in the corner. This was quite a brutal affair. Then JD got hit with a running senton with tubes on him, and Big F and Joe moves through in the tournament. Sorry, some of these matches I didn't write that many notes because I was just watching, you know. Sometimes it's annoying typing whilst I'm watching. Coming up next, another first round match. Judge Joe Dred takes on MASADA. In a match that goes 15 minutes, 35 seconds. I thought this went a little bit too long for my liking, but that's okay. That's okay. So this is Judge Joe Dred's biggest test in XPW to date. He's been kind of in that lower mid-card area, working with the guys around that spot. So taking on the champ here in a non-title match in this tournament is a big deal for him. I love the slap to the face of MASADA early on as they were kind of jockeying for position whilst, you know, grappling and chain wrestling. And the receipt that MASADA gave him, because he heard the slap from Joe, it sounded good, but then MASADA with this receipt that was 10 times louder than Joe's slap, and it got quite a good reaction. You know, MASADA's death matches in general, they're just different. You know, it's going to be brutal, but you're going to get a lot of creativity, a good cut pace so it doesn't drag, and realism. And the spots never usually take too long to set up because he's quick and snappy. I loved the jumping off the second rope to the outside through the table by MASADA. Really cool. And there was a sickening shot of Joe Dred smashing a cinder block onto a cinder block that was on the back of MASADA. These guys are nuts. Skewers, of course, into the head, as we should expect. Which was a great visual for the audience and crowd, you know, doing it right on the ropes. That's what you got to do to make those people in the front row really sink their teeth into the moment and you know, immerse themselves in the brutality that is taking place. I just love the finish because it was just so, I don't know. It was just he put a barbed wire board in front of Dred's face and he just kicked it like really hard, and then that was the finish. I loved it. I don't know why. I just thought it made me laugh because it was just such a brutal thing and simple thing to do to get a victory after all the stuff that they put them through, or put themselves through. Sorry. Sorry, I just had to pause then because I had to cough. So we got a hardcore hillbilly promo. Which again kind of tickled me. And the next match is Hardcore Hillbilly with Jasmin St. Clair, bro. And Danny, of course, as well. He's the referee for the match. Taking on Lou Nixon, who you might have, some may remember him from working the previous LA show, I believe, against Big F and Joe. 8:47, 8 minutes 47 seconds. This one went. I thought Lou was going to squash him here. Because Hillbilly, he's really green, and I had a hard time buying any offense that he had against Lou, despite the fact he was getting a lot of help from Jasmin and Danny. One thing I will say, like, we needed more shots of Jasmin on the screen because, to be perfectly honest with you, I wanted a better look at the top she was wearing. I know, that sounds like I'm just being a pervert, but like, come on, what's wrong with looking at someone who's sexy and enjoying that? So yes, I wanted to see more of her on the screen. Thank you. Okay, this whole time, I was judging Hillbilly. I was thinking, guys, should this guy really be in this tournament? It doesn't seem like he's ready yet. But I'm going to give the guy credit, okay? He tried very hard here. He really gave it his all, because there was a spot, right, where he set Lou Nixon up on a table, and then he charged to the other side of the ring. He didn't bounce off the ropes, but then he's not an athlete. Okay, he knows he's a big boy. He knows when he runs that it looks like, it's maybe in a little bit of slow motion, but he's running, and you're thinking he's not going to make it through the ropes. There's no way he's going to be able to do it. He's not quick enough. He's not athletic enough. Is he going to have enough spring to get through? As he practiced it, 1,000 times. You never seen him do anything like this before. He charges to the ropes, and man, he went through those ropes, and Lou moved out the way, and he just, I don't even know how to explain what this tumble was that he did, but he just, with so much ferocity, just span to his side. It wasn't like a front flip, but span to his side and just crashed through the table. I thought that was absolutely tremendous and one of my favorite things on the show, because I was not expecting him to pull it off as well as he did. So props to you, mate. Then he gets some Kenzans jammed in his head. That's some horrible stuff. I would never, ever do that, but it's great visual again. You're got to give this Hardcore Hillbilly some credit. He took a beating and he took a very harsh bump. So very good. Jasmin interferes and gets motorboated. So for a few seconds there, I was very jealous of Lou Nixon. Hillbilly hits some unlikely and creative offense on him, which I thought was, again, surprising. Good on you, mate. You maximize your minutes. Sassafras. Lou kicked out of all this, and then there's a swing and a miss with tubes, and then Hillbilly just got kicked in the head, and then Lou Nixon just kept pummeling him until Danny Ramirez, who was siding obviously with Hardcore Hillbilly, being in Mega Maga, Danny just called the match off finally, because he's just like, okay, like, my friend is actually getting hurt. So that made sense. And I know this is like the Deathmatch Tournament, so I know like a lot of the XPW people that we've come to expect to see on these shows wouldn't all be on this show, but just wondering, is Juventud Guerrera still a part of XPW? Will he be back? I hope so, because I've been really digging his stuff. And I think an angle with him and MASADA for the world title would be interesting. Coming up next, Shane Mercer takes on The Body in, I guess it's one of our semi-final type matches. Yeah, because the final is a fatal four-way. And it was called, Larry Legend called it a light tubes of death match. And I think Ron Nemi said, Larry's just making this up now, isn't he? And I just thought that was tremendous, because like a lot of these names did sound like they were just made up on the spot. Like, what was the first one? Barbed Wire Madness. But yeah, that was funny. I didn't write a lot of notes for this. This one went 9 minutes, 43 seconds. Body with a dive with the tube in hand was great stuff. Larry Legend, you know what? On commentary, I thought he was good. I wouldn't have a problem with him taking a match or two here or there going forward. Great sunset flip bomb onto tubes from the body. Spot of the match, though, Shane Mercer launches the body from one ring to the other with a press slam, and that was very impressive. So we're getting these little moments here on the show that are memorable moments that will be a part of highlight packages going forward. We get the Shane Mercer patented moonsault fall away slam from the second rope, and he moves forward in the tournament. Now I'm regretting wearing this jumper because I'm starting to get a little bit warm in this room. The more I talk, the warmer this room gets. So I'm going to try and get through this quickly. Drake Younger takes on Eric Ryan in the next match. And I popped for the fact that there was an arm drag onto terracotta. Never thought I'd say that. This one went 11 minutes. So Drake was taped up. So something must have happened in the first match. This is a very bloody affair between the two of them. I did laugh at another terracotta pot being, drop kicked into Drake again. Just some of these weapons just make me laugh. That's all. Ryan with a suicide dive into a table on the outside that was propped against a guardrail was absolutely nuts. And this picture perfect vertebraker onto tubes was a great finish, and Drake Younger moves forward to the final. Coming up next, Aeroboy taking on Big Effin' Joe, bro. 10 minutes, 57 seconds for this one. Another Big Effin' Joe brawl. Some great stuff on the outside. There's a shopping trolley spot where Aeroboy is stuffed in the trolley with tubes, and Joe pushes the trolley towards the ring apron, and he crashes into the ring apron. It was sick. I started laughing at one stage because Aeroboy was hitting Joe with a chair on the outside, just belting him with it really hard. And I just started laughing, thinking, like, what is wrestling? What is this? Like, they're out there allowing each other just to beat the crap out of each other, and everyone in the attendance is cheering these two people being hurt mercilessly and sadistically. But yes, this was the match with the flipping body attack. That was a really bad one. So it's killing me. In a while, I think Ron and Kyle on commentary have gelled well. I know I complained a few shows back about Chris Kloss not being there. I still feel weird about it, but let's be honest, like, Ron and Kyle are doing a very good job. Sunset flip powerbomb through tubes, and then a Death Valley driver through the door straight after that. I did not think Aeroboy was going to win this, but he got the win. He beat Big Effin' Joe. So that was a nice surprise, Not everything has to be a foregone conclusion. Like the next match, like, I knew MASADA was beating Lou Nixon. I knew that. But of course he would. 18 minutes and 18 seconds this one went. Larry Legend, again, the way he says MASADA. I can't do it because my throat's screwed. But again, he nails it. This guy is just, I've got more compliments coming his way soon as well. So I did forget to write notes for most of this. There was a spot during that match where the sound guy fucked up and started playing the theme song. This has happened so much. Something needs to change with the sound situation at XPW. But I've come to expect it too much now. MASADA, he's putting in the hard yards today, and there were more hard yards to come. And he hit a powerbomb onto barbed wire ropes, which the bump itself was a little disappointing. But then again, like, what do you expect? Expect him to be full force powerbombed into it. I don't know if that was ever gonna be a good idea. So that's probably why it was a little soft. So I thought the intermission was good. Now they've started doing things during the intermission to keep people interested or, watching by putting, advertisements or video packages, things of that nature. I like it. So Kat is back out and that's what I wrote. Kat is back out, and yep. I think and yep means like, and yep, I'm just... She gets in the ring. She's looking really good, man. this was my favorite line of verbiage on this show. Usually Ron Nemi says my favorite thing that I hear on a show, but Kat said, "Who doesn't love hot chicks with nice big tits?" I think I actually started clapping. I'm sitting in my office by myself on the other side of the world watching this delayed telecast of this show, and I started applauding like I was in the building because I agree. Yeah, again with the sound guy, I'm like, the sound guy's breaking our balls here, surely. And you know, every time Kat does something, because there was a problem with the music, the Kat was messing around, and you know, she bent over at one stage. And the way Ron was reacting was like exactly how I was reacting, and the noises I was making. Absolutely pathetic. Both of us, Ron, but I know you're doing it for comedic effect. So okay. The next part is she's going to be doing the Miss XPW or Miss Extreme contest again that got rudely interrupted by a Becky hate a few shows ago. So a well-endowed woman works out. I'm trying to pick my words carefully here, the way I say all this stuff. She comes out. She's obviously got large memories. So that's so. What am I, a doctor? Trying to think of the technical term. Okay, she got big ones. She got big jugs, right? She comes out and she literally starts showing her tits. And I don't know, I was just like, I couldn't make out her name because when she said it, you know, it's the microphone's like the house mic, you know, it's not coming clear through the feed. So we might have just needed a repeating of their names on commentary, or again, look, I know that they were going to get introduced, you know, they were going to tell the people who they were on the mic, but the nameplate wouldn't have hurt. Then an Asian, I believe she's a porn star, I don't know. She comes out and she shows her talent of licking and sucking on a banana. And the banana fell on the mat, and that made me laugh so much. I don't know why. Because everyone reacted to it naturally. Very good job. You know, this was much better than the last time they tried to do it, which felt a little bit disjointed. Then here comes the body, and I start laughing again for the fourth time in the show. Like, someone stop him from going out there. He says, "Cut the music," and he starts taking off his clothes. And he tells the whoas to get out the ring. Oh man, what he was saying was actually really funny. I really like this. He wants a shot at the television title. He doesn't want any more exhibition matches or random matches. He wants a shot at a championship. He wants a shot at her belt. And she says, "Oh, you're so sure of yourself that you're worthy of a shot at the title. Like, you're not even sure about yourself. What are you? A guy, a girl, a they, a them, a cat, a dog?" That's when I started laughing. Like, this is just going so ridiculous. And then she called him a disgusting farm animal. And then Body went for, okay, this is again funny. Body went for a double leg takedown. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't take it down. And she was beating him with the microphone. And there was a great selling of the anger from Kat. This is what I'm looking for. This is the performance I'm keen to see from her, because the more she acts like a just a little bitch, the more fun it's going to be seeing the comeuppance take place down the line. Because she's been getting away with all of this for quite some time now. Let's get to the finals here of the King of the Deathmatch Tournament, this fatal four-way, first pinfall for a finish. I was happy about this. I saw someone online quoting, to quote them, they were saying like, "Oh, fatal four-way is a real lame way to finish the tournament." But dude, we don't want this going 9-10 hours like the first one. Like, I think it's a great idea doing a four-way. If not, have less people in the tournament. I don't know. MASADA, Drake Younger, Shea Mercer, Aeroboy. This one went 14 minutes, 38 seconds. I really like Larry Legend's style, man. When he says, you know, things like, "It's about to go down," and "Let's meet the combatants." I thought that was cool, different. And you know, when he says people's names, like for example, you might think he might go Shane Mercer, but he'll go like the other way. He'll be like Shane Mercer, like he does it a different way every time, from what you would expect a ring announcer to do. So I think he's good. I'm just gonna keep, blowing smoke up his ass every single time because I'm impressed. Okay, Drake's selling during the entrance was fantastic because I was actually worried about it. So the match begins straight away. He goes through a glass sheet, and out comes the skewers. Obviously, this is what I was thinking about at this time. I thought to myself, I wonder if the local store he goes to for the skewers, I wonder if they think he really loves shish kebabs. Okay, MASADA goes backstage, and here's the big thing that everyone's fucking gone on about right now. He goes backstage and he's spitting fire. So he's probably drinking some sort of alcohol, and he's got a bit of fire on I don't know what it was. It's kind of like a Molotov cocktail type thing, but not that. But it was hanging off the end of the thing he was holding on to. And he blew the fire at Drake, but Drake had got out the way. Then he went towards Shane Mercer, did it to him. I'm guessing maybe because he blew it out the first time, that maybe that alcohol got on his fucking beard or something, all over his mouth. And maybe that's how it happened. So he goes to spit that second shot of fire, and it just ignited, like he was in flames from his chest to his neck to his face. And I felt panicking. I was like, holy shit, like this guy's face is going to be burned off. Because like every millisecond that fire was on him, I'm there, like it gets more and more scary the longer and longer it's there. You can see him trying to pat it out and get rid of it, but it just wouldn't go away. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy. Fuck. So he manages to finally get the fire out. And look, I know they've probably already heard it a million times already, but when they were going to do this spot, a guy with the extinguisher needed to be right there just in case. Every time you're doing something like this, just in case, especially with fire, someone needs to be right there every single time. Even if the guy's like, no, I got this. Trust me, every single time, because fire is unpredictable. But I mean, I know you can't know something like that is going to happen ahead of time, but still, it took a long time for someone to come out and spray the extinguisher at MASADA, and the fire was already out. So Mercer hits the moonsault fallaway slam on MASADA off the second rope, which was very impressive. And I have to give Shane Mercer some credit right here, because I've been kind of skimming through the matches here. This guy, I think, was probably one of the standouts on this tournament, and I think he did a very good job, and wouldn't mind seeing him stick around in XPW in the future. So yeah, the moonsault fallaway slam on MASADA off the second rope. Right. That's a big man. Drake, I thought, yeah, he's got to be winning this. MASADA will be protected as heavyweight champ by not being pinned. MASADA gets put on a table. Mercer press slams Aeroboy to the outside, onto MASADA, through the table. Another great spot. Drake rolled through on the moonsault fall away, gets the pinfall victory, and wins the King of the Deathmatches tournament. Get to the tail end here, everyone. Now he's got to face SHLAK at some point. We weren't sure if it was going to be happening on this evening. So Rob Black comes out, congratulates him. Very beautiful trophy given to Drake Younger. SHLAK comes out, and it looks like the title match will happen now. I gotta say, SHLAK's awesome, man. Like he's the aura that he presents with his character and his performances. He comes across legitimately like he's like mental, but to be perfectly honest, he's like the most delightful like human being, I reckon, that I've ever interviewed on the Insider's Edge podcast on this YouTube channel, along with Drake Younger and MASADA and a lot of people from XPW actually. So he destroys Drake's trophy. He smashes the trophy on the mat. And that was shocking because I was like, oh, what a shame. It's a beautiful trophy. And, oh, well. But Drake attacked him, upset about it. And the title is on the line here. I liked the Megadeth reference, Ron, when you said that this day's been a symphony of destruction. Younger was just covered in blood, man, covered in blood. SHLAK throwing handfuls of tubes at him. Nice visual. SHLAK's another one of those guys like MASADA. You know, when there's a death match with him in it, you know it's going to be good every time. Not going to drag. Same with Drake Younger. There was a half Nelson suplex from Drake onto an open chair, which was insane in the membrane. It's bro. And it's so nice seeing actual tables, man. Not just every single time doors. I like the variety. Yes, door here, door there. But I like the tables. Well done, XPW. SHLAK grabbed the belt. And I didn't realize actually it was a ladder match because I think I skimmed. No, I wouldn't have skimmed the entrances because he was already out there. But I did not know it was a ladder match until he started climbing the ladder. Maybe that needed to be repeated a few times on commentary for people like me who, you know, clearly have an attention span of a fucking woodpecker. I don't know why I picked a woodpecker then. So okay, SHLAK finally he's you know, there's been a war between these two. It's been a war. They've been brawling all the way around the building. He grabs the belt whilst he's at the top of the ladder. There was 2 tables set up in the other side on the other ring. And Drake Younger pushes SHLAK off, but as SHLAK's being pushed off, he's already pulled off the title belt. And he went through this 2 tables with glass on it for a very sick bump and a sick finish. What an explosion of a bump. Thought the finish was very creative, you know, being pushed off, but having the belt with him as he went flying. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. So I thought that was cool because it's like, oh my God, Drake had it right there. He had it. He has SHLAK's number. He knows he can beat him now because if he didn't grab that belt, then you know, Drake would have been able to climb the ladder and retrieve it himself. But yes, that one went 13 minutes 15 seconds for the main event of XPW Killafornia 2 from April 22nd, 2023 from the Derby Room in Pomona, California. So there we have it, everyone. But I'm going to give this a rating out of 10. You know, sometimes people get a bit mad at my ratings that I give. Look, I had fun watching a lot of this. Some of the beginning of the show kind of dragged a little bit for me. That's just me. But again, 5-hour show is pretty tough. Even if you're watching it and there's in a delayed sense and you can fast forward, still, it can. So sometimes these long shows drag, but that's okay. I think some of the angles were good. I'd like to see a couple more angles. I'd like to see some separate angles. I see a lot going on with Kat and now with the body and also with Becky and Ludark, and that's all kind of happening. But I'd like to see an angle from MASADA, you know, that can kind of separate him from that deathmatch thing and the deathmatch championship and SHLAK and all that. And, you know, be more focused on his world title and maybe feuding with someone like a Juventud Guerrera or whatever, what have you. But hey, I'll give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, I'll go with that. Don't think that that's bad. That's actually pretty good because usually, you know, if I don't enjoy a show, it'll be way less than that. And like an 8, an 8.5, 9, that's going towards territory of like Night of Reckoning from last year, which I thought still is XPW's best show to date. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. I'm getting a little bit tired now. So I'm just talking absolute bollocks. But thank you all for joining me here for the XPW Killafornia 2 review here on the WZWA network. Please check out our t-shirt store on prowrestlingtees.com. Thunder Mifflin. We need some more sales, please. Please, you can spare $20. Get yourself a lovely shirt of the WZWA network. And please check out the chat room on Ryzen.net. And you go into a chat room called #ProWrestling. Great bunch of people in there to talk to about pro wrestling. Anyway, that's it from me. Karlifornia, WZWA Network. This was XPW Review. See you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. WZWA Network, that's the way we like it.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.